Starting with Sam Querrey, and Querrey right here behind us, our set on court 18, facing Sergei Stahovsky, who gave him a tough run there in the early going. Pam, you were there.
I was watching this match. They traded breaks early, and then Sam played a very good tiebreak in the first set. And Sam does not have a good tiebreak record this year. We saw him at the French Open mentally just be frazzled and needed to go home and take some days off. But Stahovsky, midway through the second set, started to have some congestion problem. He's been having a virus, and he called the doctor out twice, had his pulse measured, took a anti-inflammatory or a fever reducer, and then ended up retiring.
So Querrey battling back from some Grand Slam doubts, hasn't had the success he'd like in the majors, but on he goes to the second round. American Robert Kendrick facing the 10th seed Joe Willie Tsonga, who's coming off of an injury which has kept him out of action since the French Open.
Well, a lot of people thought this could be an upset for Kendrick in the far court. He got to the tiebreak, but it was Tsonga who played the big points a little bit better. Kendrick would win the third set. A little frustration there because it was just a couple points that separated Tsonga and Kendrick in the opening two sets.
Kendrick had 28 aces to Tsonga's 19.
He's got a huge serve. He moves pretty well for a big guy. And Tsonga, an amazing stat we found out, in 10 matches here, had not broken serve until the very last game of this match.
That 54 return games here where he hasn't broken serve until the final game, and you can see how relieved he is. Again, playing his first match since retiring with a bad back in the fourth round of the French. We mentioned Haase. Well, he really took care of James Blake, who part of his frustration was taken out on the lady sitting here to my left as Pam Shriver was trying to call this match. She heard it from Mr. Blake.
Well, Court 5 is a new show court. They had a new position, the broadcast booths. I was outside but well above the court. I didn't realize that my words that James could hear. I don't think he could hear what I was saying, but he knew it was me talking. It was an irritant to him. I apologize because you never want to be heard by a player on the court.
Well, and I think because he was losing, Pam, I think it made it even harder for him to focus and concentrate. I think his knee is still bothering him. That's what's kept him out of the game for so long. Just started playing last week. So a tough first round for James Blake.
He did admit afterwards that his knee, he probably came back too soon from his knee, even though he was out 10 weeks, and he did call it embarrassing. And you wonder, will James Blake be back here at Wimbledon with his ranking falling, and has not had great success here?
Well, it's more whether or not also you can just kind of be a 100th ranked player and not be a factor. I mean, James Blake was a factor in men's tennis for 5-7 years, and we'll see how long he can take this stage. It's a painful stage. When I got there at 2-1, he was already down a break in the first set, and he was already in a foul mood. And he's one of those players that really broadcasts his moods, and I did too, and I recognize it, and you get down on him a little bit watching because you realize it's his worst enemy is himself.